What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Burndown. So today, we're going to do a little talking head video, and I want to fill you guys in on the changes I'd like to make to the Maliboom. That way I can bounce the ideas off you guys, because as far as I'm concerned, you're my community. Most of you know all about the car. Some of you guys, there's probably a good handful of you guys that go much quicker than my car does. Although, leave in the comment section if you're a drag and drive guy or what it is that you do. Because I know a lot of you guys do. I know some of the fast guys. There's a couple guys that I've kind of been in contact with. I know what it is, you know, like your car speed and all that other stuff. But if you're just a normal guy, you just cruise around or whatever, I'd like to kind of know what kind of cars you guys are driving and kind of why you watch the channel. So, and then also lets me know what kind of advice I'm getting, if I should take it or not. But anyway, before I get started, I thought I shared this with everybody, but I didn't. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Yes, and it's remote control as well. So a dude named Chris, and he's a friend of a friend, hit me up and he found this at a swap meet. So this is gonna be the mini Bagel. I'll grab you guys. I know you're probably dying to check it out. So check this dog out. So this is a Tonka body, and it's even an Indian, just like the Twinnebago. Look at that. This is the original color too. My Bagel used to be that color underneath before I painted it. So a guy zip tied a bunch of stuff and made a little RC out of it. I do have the controller for it. And then we're gonna obviously revamp it, make the lid, the little visor, and then we're gonna do this in gold. I actually got paint today because there's, let me fix you guys. I actually got paint today because I ran out of candy gold, so I wasn't actually done painting the Twinnebago. I wanted to do the AC unit on top in gold because I think that would be baller. And I realized doing all the pictures and videos and stuff with like 1320 and Holly and everybody, you open the door and you fold it back and there's this catch that holds it so you can get in and out and you don't get whacked by your door or if the wind picks up or whatever. But the inside of the coach is brown. So when you fold it out, it covers the W and then the door is brown. So it's kind of goofy and ugly. So I'm going to correct that by painting the door white and then bringing the candy gold W through the door. So when you open it, it looks just the same. So people are taking pictures or whatever. It's like, hey, wait a minute, let me close my door, because I kept having to do that. And then a little behind the scenes on the Holly video that we shot, Jeremy wanted me to come out of the Twinnebago and like introduce stuff. And when I came out, I went and shut the door, and then I started talking. But I didn't want to just leave the door swinging. It was like one of those awkward things, like, what do I do with my hands? Because I can't just pop out and be like, what's up? And then this door just going bam, bam, bam the whole time you're talking. And then I didn't want to leave it open because it was ugly. I don't remember if I left it open or I closed it. Anyway, yeah, so mini Winnebago, it's me remote control. We're going to bring this out to events. John had a good idea. Maybe we'll put like free stickers and stuff on. I'll make like a little holder, and then we can mob it through like pits and stuff, and people can pull stickers and the kids can check it out or whatever. But we're gonna mess with this and make a little replica and bring that out. So that would be fun, so I can mob it around the pits and things. Hell, I think more people will probably be more impressed with the mini Bagel, huh? So that was awesome. And then, yeah, so let's get down to brass tacks. I just wanted to share that, and thank you very much again, Chris. This thing is spectacular. So, meat and potatoes of the reason you're here, well, kind of, is the plan for the Maliboom. So I was frothing at the mouth watching Rocky Mountain Race Week. I think we went over this, and I told everybody that I don't really care to be a hero at the local track. I don't really care if I had the fastest 60 foot. I don't really care about any of that stuff. What I do care about is getting to go to drag and drive events, having a good time, and going through the struggle. And I need to make my car more of a street car, because right now there's more race car that I'm trying to drive on the street versus a street car that we're trying to make fast. So what I mean by that is I don't really need the creature comfort amenities and all that stuff, but I went with the Power Glide because it was a bit lighter, and I figured I could facilitate and build it myself, which we did, and that worked out. And then just some of the choices on the car, I made it for kind of track, and then I figured, well, I could just fix it if it breaks. Well, I learned the hard way. I don't want to break. I don't want to fix it. I just want to enjoy the event. So the plan is a lot. So we're going to start with the engine, right? So I have the 6.2. It was a junkyard motor. I have pistons and rods and all the fun things in it. and everybody's like, oh, you can turn it up to a bunch and it'll make a bunch of power and all that stuff. The thing does make good power right now. I'm not going to pretend like it, you know, it doesn't motivate pretty well. But, you know, if you can go bigger and better, you may as well. So I got a box here showing it pretty soon, and we'll show you guys that. But the plan, tentatively, is to stroke the engine that is in there for a little more displacement so we can run at least over the 400 cubic inch mark. And what I'd like to do is, Apple actually just had a dyno that he posted, and I was like, that's my jam. It was a higher compression engine on low boost, and the guy made all kinds of juice, and I was like, that's what I want. So the reason I'm gonna mess with what I have is A, because it can, mainly because there's really nothing wrong with the engine, and then B, part of being sponsored and doing things is you got to run people's products. I can't just tell people, oh yeah, go check out this stuff, if I don't really have it on board. So that's another reason we're going to make some changes. I'm getting a little help to kind of facilitate that, and I figure, hey, you know, anything that's going to make the car bigger, better, faster, and if they help me and I can help them, I think that is a winning situation. So the engine thing was kind of besides the point. I was just going to, well, I had multiple ideas, but we're going to stick with what I have. I almost swapped it out for a steel 6-liter, an iron 6-liter, but I'll just have that on deck for whatever anyway, because I still have that one as well. So we're going to do the engine. The main focus or change is really the transmission. That's really the one that started this whole ball rolling. And we're going to go with the 480E. I'm in talks with my buddy Ryan Jans. So I'm going to get through the one for the Bagel, and then we're really going to sit down and hammer out what we need to do to the one for the Maliboom. But he's going to help facilitate that, and then also spec a converter. So that's doing these things. That's the other reason I'm starting now, because if you guys are like me, majority of you are, you know that putting a transmission, like a built transmission at that together is not cheap. I'm fortunate. I get a lot of help. People are very kind, and then I try to, you know, give back when people sponsor and help me out with certain things. You'll hear me promote different things. And I will say this, anything that I actually use, I won't take stuff or use things and push it on anybody if I wouldn't use it or pay for it 100% myself. A lot of stuff too, I just get discounts on things, and that's great and it helps. But it's not like I'm getting paid and I'm getting all this stuff. It's stuff that actually works properly. If something was junk, I would just be like, I'm out. Because I feel like I have a reputation to uphold, because if I say something's quality and it's good and I use it, I hope, you know, that if you guys ran out and got something or used a service or somebody that I recommend, that you would be 100% satisfied as well. So if you have any issues with any of the vendors or anything that I promote on here, please let me know. And I would imagine that all of them would make any sort of issue right, or it would be to your expectations. So with that being said, Brian's gonna help me with that, and he does all my converters. My converter's been bitching. You can talk to the guys from War 2, by the way, because they spec'd out some converters, and Jason was saying how that made a big difference in his the way his car performs. And the 480, speaking of which, Jason from War put his together, and I didn't say this on the thing, but I might as well just say it here. So he has the trailer with the Z. He put Joe's trailer in his little mini trailer. He drove the Z from Fresno out to Nebraska, did the entire race, the entire trip, and then loaded the other small trailer back in there and drove the thing home. And he got third place in the 10.0 index. So I was like, how do you get out of that little car with such gigantic balls, dude? That is phenomenal. So my hat is off literally to you, Jason, because I ain't doing that. I mean, that's pretty good. And I think a lot of people are like, hey, after you do a drag and drive event, to drive there first of all, and then to race, and then be like, oh cool, I got this. Like, this thing's still enough in one piece that I can just motor on home for another X amount of thousands of miles. So that is pretty baller. But it is a good testament to the transmission that Jason built and the converter that's spec'd in the car. And that's the type of stuff, if you have a car that can do that and then click off 10s while he's eating ice cream, I think the car's even faster than that. I think he's limited by safety, kind of like how my car was. So there's more left in it. So that is very impressive. And that's another reason too, I watch these races. Before I used to watch the race and go just see what people were doing and kind of cheer for people. But now I'm like studying, because I'm like, I've been there, I know what struggles I had, and I want to watch and see what other people are running and why. So the overdrive, the lockup, That's going to be invaluable. I'll get the third gear, which I don't really care that much about. My Power Glide has a really good ratio, but the lockup will keep the transmission temps down. I can lock it down to like third, drive through the mountains. That's all going to be phenomenal. We'll hopefully make a little more juice, so that will be good. The intercooler, I'm thinking I have an air to air, which is like simple and bulletproof. You just put it on and go. The thing I don't like about it though is it blocks my whole entire radiator. So I think we're going to change to water to air. I know it's more of a pain in the ass for the track portion of it, but it's going to facilitate more than just the track portion of it. So it'll give me a box with water. So we're going to add weight, we're going to add lines and complexity, but it will not be in front of my radiator. So if you've been on a Dragon Drive or you watch any of these guys or whatever, they don't really express the severity of how hot when it's 100 and the air is thin and you're driving up a mountain and you're towing and you got your gear and you got your buddy sitting in the passenger seat. I mean, that car is just, it's not a happy place, and the car itself is typically not very happy. So you start blocking radiators. Like I had a little water squirter thing, so that helped tremendously last time. We'll probably facilitate something like that again, but that Champion cooling system radiator I have on there works fine, because before I had that cooler, I had one that was below it, so the radiator would actually get airflow, and the thing would just, it ran on some, you know, normal fans, and I didn't really have too many issues. But now, like with the hood on, I drove it at 100 degrees and it stayed like 193, but the fans, I got the Spall fans, they would grab it and knock it down. But when I was driving, I'm like, man, these things shouldn't even be on, even if it's 100 outside. I mean, granted, yeah, that 193, maybe we're kind of trying to shoot a little bit lower, but the Bagel, that thing actually runs pretty cool. When you're mobbing down the highway, if there's like no grade or nothing, it's pretty flat. So I'm taking a page out of the Bagel book, and the transmission runs cool on that thing now, and then the engine runs pretty darn cool for what it is when you're motoring. When you stop and the air stagnates, you know, the fans have to still catch it in the Bagel. But when you're motoring, the thing's like under 190, it just rolls, you know, and I'm like, there's no reason my car shouldn't be able to do that as well. So we're gonna move that, and then I'll put the water, I'm gonna make probably, have my buddy help me, my buddy Travis. We're gonna bend up a new fuel cell, so I want a larger one. I'm gonna do a custom water box. I may buy one because those things seem to be cheap. He was talking about making one, but for the price of material, I don't think, you know, we'll have to figure that out. You guys leave a comment, and then I'll figure out, let me know what water to air. I was talking to my buddy Anthony, and he said it was like a Type 5 frozen boost, you know, deal. So I'd love the sandwich one. Ain't nobody got money for that though, especially right now with all the changes I have to make. So maybe one day we'll go to the sandwich deal, but I'm just gonna go external, figure out where to put it. So that'll all be fun. We're gonna have to stuff that donkey thing under the hood somewhere, which, you know, that'll be what it is. But we'll have the box of water. I might run my return fuel through it. I'm debating that for cooling, and then I'll probably run a squirter out of that box too. I'll facilitate it somehow, so when you're driving and I just have this big box full of water, at least it'll cool my fuel down, and then worst case, if the car's getting hot, I can use it to squirt the thing like in the mountains. Because those drives, I mean, we went up to 9,000 feet. You ain't driving 9,000 feet pretty much anywhere, I don't think, besides on that race, let alone your race car. Nobody's taking a race car and going, hey, let's go on a 9,000 foot elevation drive. You don't. But you got to do it when you go to race week. The thing has to be capable. So we're going to put all those MacGyver items on there to keep that thing happy. So we've covered the engine, probably going water to air, transmission. That means I got to cut out the floor, so we have all that tin work there, and I figure if we're going to cut things apart, we might as well just cut the ass end out of the car and put a tire on it. And I noticed the track prep was terrible, so everybody's running slicks, or the people that were running slicks seem to be doing better. And the other thing too is you get limited runs, so if you really blow the tires off and you have to abort a run, you got to wait again, either later in the day, maybe you want to get on the road early, or maybe it's toward the evening, and you just don't get as many passes sometimes as you like or you need. So you got to kind of make every run count. So I think we might switch over to like, I think I can have a 12-inch tire. They don't dictate the height, so I'm probably looking at, I'd like probably a 29-10-5, and then whatever a 12-inch width pattern is. So I think it's 29-10-5, maybe 10-5W will give you the 12, but I'll have to see, because I want to be within the rules. I don't want to get out there and have somebody say, oh, you're cheating, but we definitely want to be to the max. So I'm going to cut things out and move things around. So we'll open the back end up. I got to move the frame in a little bit, I think, to facilitate that. So we'll have to get a different set of wheels. I'll have to get some slicks or whatever that I can just play with to stick on there when I mock everything up. So we're gonna do that. So we'll get hopefully a little more power. Overdrive transmission will move the intercooler out of the front of the air. The other option too would be to get a better intercooler, but I don't know. You guys let me know. I mean, the debate is on and on and on, but pros and cons, it seems like the water to air, and then having that box of water on there could kind of be like a threefold, because if I ran my return fuel through it, because the fuel always gets hot, that might be pretty cool. If you got out somewhere and the thing was getting hot, you could always put cool water in there or throw some ice or whatever if you got it. Especially like in the mountains where it really tends to boil and get hot, you just stuff some ice in that box. And then I think I'll run the actual cooler too. So those don't really block the air though, like the intercooler. Maybe it's just I got a crappy intercooler or something. I don't know. It was a cheap one. So that's it. We got motor, transmission, more traction, and then after we put all this stuff in, I'm gonna look for whatever to lighten. I think I might cut the front cross member and just put a piece of chromoly like tubing across for the front cross member, so I could drop the oil pan if need be, and then get the motor in and out. And we might scoot the motor back just a bit if we're going to be in there making all these changes and landing a new transmission and a cross member. Maybe we'll do that too. So that is it. Those are the changes I'm looking at making. Let me know pros and cons of any of that stuff. Thank you again, Chris, for this guy. I wanted to share it with you. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday. Don't work too hard. We're gonna hopefully shoot some videos this week so we can get back to some sort of car stuff. But that's it. Till next time, I'm out.